Birmingham Sales Professionals. How are we doing? Is everybody good and full now?
Yeah.
Everybody had lunch? Everybody hanging out? Everybody ready to learn something?
Yes.
All right. My name is Scott. For those of you that I have not met yet, I apologize. I just got off the plane from a conference and I left my medicine at the hotel. So we are going to be all over the place. We are going to have fun. It is going to be a great show. So welcome to the inaugural Sales Breakout for Birmingham AI. I'm just actually the guest host. Our main host over here is Pete. He's going to get into the good stuff in a minute. But I just wanted to say hello. Thank you guys so much for coming. This community, this movement that we are working on is not possible without all of you. People that are willing to show up, who are willing to come in here and just try together. Because we all know it's going to break. It breaks every time. Even if it's working for months, it's going to break. So if it's going to break, let's at least just figure it out together. You know what I mean? So here's the Birmingham AI mission statement. Accelerate AI adoption in Birmingham for all. I hate reading from slides. I'm sorry. I won't do it anymore after this. From a meetup to a movement. Now, I don't know if you were at Red Mountain in January or if you were angrily emailing me trying to get off the wait list. I'm sorry. I tried everything I could. But now we are a movement. Okay? So, welcome to our sales breakout. Again, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to read it a little bit. So, we want to make Birmingham the city where sales professionals master AI, not as a replacement for our connection, okay, but as the catalyst that makes authentic relationships scalable, okay? AI cannot replace that connection that you have with a client. It cannot replace the connection you have with a prospect, okay? When you're figuring out what the problem is and you're giving them the solution that you have, or you're figuring out how to ask the developer to make the solution work for that problem. Not that we've ever done that. But, so this breakout exists to help sales professionals reclaim their time for administrative overhead by implementing AI workflows that get them to value-driven conversions faster. I would be happy to never have to rewrite my notes for my phone call back into HubSpot again. Can I get an amen? Amen. So, sorry, I get a little preachy. Grew up in that Southern Baptist background a little bit. So, look, this is what we're all dealing with right now. AI is moving fast, okay? We can't really get past it. We can't get around it. I was just at a conference in Denver for a lot of outbound, a lot of BDR work, and it's everywhere. Everybody's having the same problem. It's not just you. Everyone's watching it move, and by the time they think they get a hold of it, something has changed again, okay? It's frustrating. I know it is, but that's why we're together, okay? But think about it, you know, cold research that used to take 3 or 4 hours per prospect, it's 90 seconds. You can pull up Perplexity, you can have an entire company's history there, done. Obviously, please God, check the references, okay? We're all adults, okay? The stuff that's always grinding us down, AI is taking it off our plate. We're not having to deal with it anymore, all right? We can now deal with having the empathy for our clients that we need to get on the same page with them to make that connection, okay? We're not having to worry about all the other manual administrative stuff, okay? That's what we're here to get rid of, not people. Now, to be honest with you, as I've been implementing these things, like at my company over at Goldleaf, and then with clients and with other Birmingham AI community members, it can get hard, okay? There's going to be mistakes, but it's through the follow-up, through the iteration, through not giving up, being the little engine that could. It's my daughter's favorite book now, by the way. I've read it every night for the past 3 weeks. The new Dolly Parton one, by the way. She's not in it, though. But the best part is the reps are what get us there, okay? So this is what I want you to get out of this today. I want you to get 2 or 3 things that you can implement this week, not put on the calendar, not put on your task list in HubSpot, that you can do this week. I know it's Thursday. You know, we'll say a week from Thursday. Let's be honest. And the reps that figure these things out first, the BDRs that figure this thing out first, the AEs that figure this out first, they're the ones that are going to make it, okay? But we're all together. We're all in different industries. We're all working different things. We can all do this together. Okay? We don't have to compete against each other. So we're all in the same race, okay? Now, this is a breakout session, okay? We're going to do a little bit more than just surface level prompts, okay? This is where we actually get into what the workflows that we can use, the longer form things that we can do to make our process easier and better, okay? It's not going to get technical. We're not going to be doing things in JavaScript. We're not going to pull up JSON code, okay? But there are things that we can do together on all of our levels to make it easier, okay? So I'm excited to get started with you. Let's get into the good stuff. Here's our rundown. Now we're going to do a little bit of sales news, and I found a great Grainger article when I was on the plane last night for a use case they're doing in 2026 that just blew my mind. Then we're going to get into AI for prospecting. I'm going to do all of our questions. And now my clicker doesn't work. Roll Tide. All right, so I know we talked a little bit about Claude yesterday and some of the automations that was in there. So this one is Claude Cowork. Now it is very similar to what you could do yesterday, but you can tell it which folders on your computer you want it to access, so it can pull up things in a little bit safer manner. But it can go through, and this is one of the easier things to get into to start pulling administrative work out of your everyday to help automate some of your things, updating CRM fields, call summaries, pulling out the information from those call summaries, which I think is is anybody doing call summaries in here and using AI to summarize those calls? That is, if you don't know where to start right now and you need a step one, all the Zoom calls and Teams calls that we're doing, they're probably getting recorded anyway. So use those transcripts. And then if you're worried about company data, then you can do it on like Copilot if you're there, or if you're a Google Workspace, you can do it like on your secure Gemini and use those so it's not leaking client data on the internet, other than what's already been leaked, because we're all victims of the process. But that is a great step one. Not that I'm rolling over Pete's thunder here.
Great point.
So what can you do with this? Like, how can we start automation? How can we start moving things a little bit forward? Mapping out your workflows, okay? What do you do it every day? Not just thinking, I really hate this part, but actually sit down and map it, okay? Put it out there. Keep track of what's happening and figure out the places there that we can take things off the plate, okay? All the playbooks and things that we've got going, we can digitize all those, okay? We can have conversations. We're actually in the process of building some sales training chatbots right now that we're going to implement at my company so that we can practice. We can practice sales calls before we get on them. So that way we don't have BDRs just going straight into making cold calls. Like, they can warm up. They can have some of these conversations with a chatbot to go back and forth. And I'm going to train it to be not very nice because one of my new BDRs is here. So I intend to make it difficult. All right, so let's get into this Grainger use case. Now, I'm not going to read all this to you. I'm going to send you the use case in the follow-up email. But they have developed their entire seller insights platform that goes out to it follows all of their equipment. It tracks all their sales across the retail platforms, through all the different stores, Grainger.com, Lowe's, Home Depot. I go to Harbor Freight because they said big chains, Harbor Freight. And when you're tracking your seller information like this, if you're any kind of B2C, you're selling any kind of product, you've got the data. Again, find some kind of closed source system that you have, Copilot, Gemini, if you're on Google Workspace, or if you want to ask one of your engineers to download a local AI model just to do some data analysis. It's a lot easier than it was 6 months ago when I was doing it. And you can do the data analysis right there yourself. If you're in like a HubSpot or a Salesforce, you can query those as well to track customer, or to look at customer data, look at sales data. I promise I'm not going to get super data right now. It's probably a little late for that. Pete's getting antsy. So this was the actual source from the case study that did the research on Grainger and their whole system and did all the interviews. It got real in depth with some of the Grainger people about how they're doing this process. So this is what you can kind of use from it. So the reps that are getting out are getting more out of their platforms through AI. Okay, there is some risk on this, but only if you are negligent. If you just start uploading things to the internet randomly, then obviously there's going to be a problem. Okay, talk to your IT, talk to your engineers, whoever you have at the company, and find an in-house closed loop secure way to do it. It is so. I know that sounds like a lot, but I promise you, it's so much easier than it was 6 months ago. Open source has come maybe the furthest in terms of the AIs that we are working with now. Okay, so now we're going to get into my lovely friend Pete over here, who is going to talk about AI in prospecting. That's what we're working on. So everybody give it up for Pete. Thank you. Go out there and talk about yourself.
Let me turn on my mic real fast. I can do this, I swear. Set a blue light.
It's not a Steve Goggins sales seminar, okay? Like we all just doing our best.
Testing. And then turn yours off.
Yeah, I got it.
How's everyone doing?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. Very happy to be here. Hope the pasta was fantastic. Are we cool with the light the way it is? Can y'all see okay?
Is anybody asleep yet?
We turn on the TV.
We do not, but I'll...
Well, that takes about a second.
We use our outside voices in this room.
I will probably position myself here mostly and do a little oscillation, and then we turn your mic off.
Yeah, I got it.
We good? Awesome. All right, everyone. Really happy to be here. Can you hear me in the back okay? All right. If I, for some reason, get quieter than I normally am at home, just raise your hand back there. I'll see you. Really happy to be here. Welcome to the first Birmingham AI Sales Breakout. Earlier today, someone asked me how this started, and I can't remember it all. But what happened, I know, is that Austin and I got Falafel Cafe. We got way too much of that hot sauce on our sandwiches, started sweating at the table together, and somehow manifested this Birmingham AI Sales Meetup. So welcome. A little bit of going up.
Go down.
Oh, I thought it was the other way. No, up.
We're gonna go.
Cool. I can just do the computer then. All right, great. So today we're going to focus on using AI to prospect. So one of the things that I learned by coming to Birmingham AI the last several years now is to use, watching Austin and Will and how they teach. They have a unique talent in communicating ideas. So what we want to do today is focus on what a first meeting at Birmingham AI should entail, which are, as Scott said, we're not going to be diving into Claude Code or JSON today. I'm just going to use this. So a little bit about who I am. Why am I up here? Outside of buying Austin Falafel Cafe that day, I've been attending Birmingham AI for about 2 years now. And just like you, I'm using AI in my daily workflow. And I loved the mission statement. And I am open to how that evolves as a group. But I do think we can all agree that our client is the center of our world. And AI is a stepping stone to helping that client out. So how can we use AI to maximize those human relationships, not get in the way? I think there was kind of black or white kind of derivative of, hey, AI is going to take us away from humans. And in some instances that may be the case, but I think in sales, what's really exciting is we can use it to tackle deeper human relationships. And in this case, we're going to be diving into enterprise level AI prospecting. Number 2 here, currently I'm the National Director of Sales at We Recycle Solar. We do just what our name says. We recycle solar. I say that to clients a lot. If you fly over the desert and you see deserts of solar, when they install 1 million panels, 20,000 are broken. We help out. We're the funeral home of the solar business. And then a little bit about me just personally, because I am into that. I like to fly fish and canoe with my wife, Lindsay. Here we are on the Sipsey Fork. If you haven't done that, canoe trail, hit it up. So a little bit about our goals today. We're going to explore prospecting with AI. We're going to reflect throughout the presentation on how to use AI to continually refine our prompt. And then number 3, I want to leave, as Scott prefaced this really nicely, we need to leave with some action items. What are we going to take away from this? So my challenge for you is whether you're already in N8N or you're like N8N's dead, I'm using Claude Code or whatever, you've got the Mac Mini set up that you just got off Facebook Marketplace and you've got an external agent now. Wherever you are on the spectrum of using AI, today my challenge for you would be what inspiration can you find from this talk? And something that I really was inspired by Austin and Will, was that every talk I go to, even if I know exactly what they're talking about, I leave and I don't know about y'all, maybe it's the pizza, but usually it's the opposite for me. Usually I get lethargic, but when I leave Birmingham AI, I feel more motivated to go home and solve a problem, look into a new program that they mentioned that I had never heard before. So that's my challenge for you today, and also what I hope I can deliver to you. So what we're going to focus on today is ChatGPT projects. Why am I focused, or why are we focused on ChatGPT projects? So before I was building this presentation, I really wanted some feedback, because I'm like, how do I talk to a room of 75, 80 plus people and communicate to them and deliver value, right? That's my daily goal for all of my life. Well, 4 out of 10 people in this room are casual users at this time, fixing typos, editing some emails, but haven't necessarily integrated it into their workflow. And shout out to all of you for showing up, because the number one problem with sales reps in AI right now is training. So you're here doing it. So when I was building this presentation, I was reminded of a 5th grade English teacher who walked into the room. That's as dramatic as it is in my head. I don't know when a teacher would have walked in their room and just like delivered this, but nonetheless, in my memory, my exciting childhood memory, she says, "Describe a sandwich to an alien." And that was the writing prompt. And I remember as a kid, I actually was like, oh, I'm going to nail this. And I was like, dang, an alien doesn't know what bread is. And while I was building this presentation, I realized this is exactly what prompt engineering is. And I shouldn't even put that word in here. This is just what prompting is. Disregard the engineering word. We don't need to focus on that, right? We're all engineers now. That's the craziest thing in the world to me, right? As someone who had a liberal arts background, skateboarded, was curious about 20 things, not one thing. This is the time to be that person, and the time to be special, just like Austin said yesterday, 5 out of 10 at being a lawyer, a designer, a CFO, and whatever else you imagine to be. So ultimately, in the end, the quality of our output of our prompt, or what we're telling the large language model to do, is going to reflect the assumptions of our input. So does the alien know what bread is? No. So we're going to start by building a project and a large language model to prospect enterprise level customers. We are going to focus on one company today. It's just the example I came up with. You can use this to prospect it however you see fit. But what I like is that, I don't know if y'all have ever run into this gong study. I've run into this a lot when trying to find stats to back up some of the work that I'm doing, and it's been fantastic to have this data. But they found top performers send 32% fewer emails, but reference 2x more account-specific context. And I think this is a fantastic stat to affirm why we're doing this presentation, but also to kind of disband. I think it's important to say there's this classic sales notion of personalized prospecting versus spray and pray. And in the age of AI, I don't think that's a binary anymore. I don't think it's not as black and white as that anymore. How are we going to do both is really the question. And we have the tools at our disposal to do just that. So we want to take the time today to move from chatting to building a brain. When you create these projects, and I'll go over this and got some screenshots and some nice red arrows that I drew, treat it like a dossier, treat it like a brain, treat it like a file. We're moving away from a chat thread without context to something more meaningful and with more information to draw down from. So if one is currently using the chat function and asking simpler questions, we're going to dive in on how to really double down on improving the quality of that input to improve the output. So first off, we're going to create a project in ChatGPT, but one of the things that Scott pointed out, and I want to double down on, and this may be atypical, but I love that. If you're on a bleeding edge, whether it's me and Claude Code, which I still haven't honestly had that light bulb moment yet, totally see the vision, don't get me wrong. Or whether you're looking to integrate ChatGPT into your prospecting, whatever LLM you're using, If you're on a bleeding edge, I've actually found it very productive to leave the computer. Get your sketchbook out, get your notebook out, and get a pen and pencil and explore ideas. I think there's still an incredible use case for having that tangible kind of interaction, literally with a piece of paper and a pen, but also how things come from our brain onto a piece of paper can better improve the output. I think it's another tool we can use. Not a good idea to you, not a problem. But I think that it was really worked wonders for me. So Scott, do you think we can toggle between the screens? All right, so we'll move just by pressing escape and moving between tabs. All right, great. So first off, I'm gonna experiment here. I've never done a live demo like this. I have screenshots for the oh crap lever, but I'm gonna work between ChatGPT and the presentation. So first off, we're gonna go to ChatGPT and we're gonna move to the sidebar here. And you're familiar with this because you always click new chat, you know, what's up, how you doing? But really what I wanna focus on is under projects. Yeah, I think I should be able to. Thanks for, how do you feel about that? That word looks very interesting. Yeah. All right, back on track. So thank you for bringing up that feedback from the back. So on the left here, we're gonna create a new project and we're gonna name this ExxonMobil, please call me back. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna zoom in on, quite literally, on how to create a prompt here. What we wanna do is move from the level of ChatGPT, please help me prospect ExxonMobil, to instead, first off saying, you think it'll bring up the mic if I click the mic button? Testing. I'm not sure. It's all good. Oh no. Yeah, I'm leaving it. I'm abandoning the ship. We're going back to old school typing right now.
This is how you can tell that I've moved off ChatGPT. Like I'm everyday work, I'm in Claude now. So like my ChatGPT.
Dude, I'm not even in ChatGPT anymore. All right, cool. So we created a new project. I'm back on track. We're all good over here. So we've got ExxonMobil, please call me back. What we're gonna do is move from that simplified approach and we're gonna work on getting ChatGPT to build our prompt for us. So let's do this. I'm building a prospecting tool. What I want this to do is personalize prospecting for enterprise level customers. What I need is your help, please, which I always say on my resume, I say, the kind of guy who says please and thank you in AI. What I need your help with is to generate a description for a project where I build this tool. Any further questions, please itemize, but I'm leading a demo actively, so don't take up too much of my time. All right, so what we've done here is ask ChatGPT to build the description inside of the project itself. So instead of saying, typing out all of these options here, we get ChatGPT to do that for us. So this is the output. You would take time to overview this. Who else always forgets the copy button is at the bottom? I never do, I swear. And we're gonna go to the project. What's that? Yeah, right, right. So we go to the projects here, and the real meat and potatoes of setting up a project is the information that you give it. But also on top of that, what do you want it to do? So that's the question we need to ask ourselves. How do we tell it what to do? So you've got the brain, and we've worked on these instructions, and we've gotten that prompt. I would suggest looking over it more than I just did, but you get the point. All right, so we've got the instructions here. This is going to be how you use this project. What does it need to act on? So as we move back to the slideshow, you'll see we went from yo prospect for me, duh, hurry up, to building and asking with ChatGPT. You'll see that it spits out something more along these lines. Instead of spitting out 10 prospects that it maybe understands, which is how I started when it was like 2024 or something like that. And it was like, this is revolutionary, but we're past that, right? It's evolved so much more. So you can see that with a prompt, we get a much improved output. We get, the purpose of this project is to outperform generic enterprise outreach by combining deep company-specific research, disciplined sales methodologies, and highly personalized messaging grounded in real decision-maker context. All right, here are my emergency screenshots. So the first thing I want to do is one of my favorite tricks. I say that like everyone in the room probably knows how to do this. Maybe they don't. I'm looking for the one person who doesn't know how to do this today. So one of my favorite things to do is actually go to LinkedIn, which, do you have LinkedIn? Are you serious?
No.
That was the only part of this press I didn't plan through. Whoa, that is great. All right, so first off, we're going to go to LinkedIn. And since we're prospecting ExxonMobil, we're going to go to ExxonMobil Vice President. All right, that didn't bring up the person. Let's see. Let's do, it doesn't matter. Let's do iMotion or motion, and we're gonna, are we in LinkedIn? Are we in Sales Nav? That's crazy. All right, Vice President.
You're in the jobs.
Yeah, I'm in the jobs. Let's see, let's leave behind this jobs tab. Someone point out what I'm doing. People, there we go, thank you. It's so different. All right, great. I was like using this Dave Andrew guy yesterday when I was working on this. So let's go to his profile. Simple little thing, save to PDF. You can save the entire LinkedIn profile in a PDF form. And what I like to do here is build some kind of decision map. You can do this in Sales Navigator. You can use research to build this. But to download each individual LinkedIn profile of the kind of ecosystem that you're ready to prospect. So once you have that downloaded, we'll come back and upload it to the file. Thank God that's there. Good job, Scott. All right. So from here, one of my other favorite things to do, and these are just little tricks and tips. What you're going to do, and what the intention of this presentation is, all right, I didn't like that idea Pete had, that one spot. But dang, that made me think of something else I should do. In this instance, these are some quirky little tips to help you improve your project. And you're going to add into your toolbox as you move forward from this meeting presentation. One of the ones that I really like to do is to inform on like bigger sets of data. One of my favorite things to do is to download YouTube transcripts of especially long interviews. Not only, we'll start by using long form interviews from sales methodologies, right? So to guide how we're going to sell this, we're going to download a sales methodology transcript from, let's say, can I open your YouTube?
Right now.
Oh, man. All right. Sam McKenna. Sam McKenna, show me you know me. Anyone know her?
Oh, I love Sam.
Yeah, who knows Sam McKenna? Wow. All right. So in terms of selling methodology, big fan. That's all I'm going to say. So I come to YouTube. I find an incredible cold email course she did with Apollo. And what I'm going to do is copy paste this link, Control T, and then I'm going to find a YouTube transcript service. Hope it's the one that I use normally. It is, and I'm so happy to do that correctly in front of you. We're going to copy paste the link. It's going to verify that I'm not a robot. We're going to come down and we're going to copy paste this whole interview. So the purpose of this, to possibly state the obvious, is that this is an entire course on how to build Show Me You Know Me emails. We'll copy paste this, and we're going to head back into our project. So one of the things I discovered here, and Scott wouldn't know this because he doesn't use ChatGPT anymore, is that when you add a file now, it used to be that I would add all of these into Google Docs and have to download the Google Doc and take the Google Doc and shake your head if you've done this. Yes, Pete, or no, you're dumb, Pete. And now you can just add the text and it creates the file for you. So Show Me You Know Me. Let's get this going. All right. So we're going to save that. So one of the next things that I like to do is repeat the process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the process by going to YouTube. I think that was his name. Yep. And I find interviews with the person I'm trying to sell to. So when I'm selling to large developers or IPPs or asset owners, these are folks that are behind like several blockers of, walls. And I've got to find that extra tidbit of how I'm going to connect with the customer. What I love about long form podcasts, and I've had a lot of success with this in the past, is they're going to give you that extra 5%, even 1% that gets you through the door, that gets your toe in the door. Not just what they're selling at the company, but also their dog's name, or they happen to have a border collie and the podcast person has a border collie too. That's your way in. And as I say in a slide or two, I'm not into this game, and I teach my team this. I'm not saying forced personalization. I just like border collies. If I don't like border collies or I don't watch Alabama football, like don't say Roll Tide, right? It's not going to work. Like how do we lead with things that we feel genuine about? All right, so I'm going to copy paste this transcript, and I'm going to take it back into the project. All right, done. By the way, it's been a second since I've been in projects as well, and I can't remember if I just missed this or what, but yeah, projects access everything in your chat now. Probably super dated on that, but I was interested in thinking, like, is that all positive, or is there like some kind of downside there, and is it in terms of like accuracy or hallucinations? They're not really doing that anymore, but you get what I'm saying. All right, so once we save this, one of the practical things as I move to the next slide here is we're going to build some outbound messaging. So instead, oh my good God. Oh, 1 second. So instead of building a sequence for HubSpot, we can build the information that makes that HubSpot sequence all that more potent. So we can work here by saying, all right, great information. Let's now build an 8-step HubSpot sequence. And let's include LinkedIn, email, whatever that's called, and then phone calls. Who does those anymore, right? I'm just kidding. Anyone figured out how to get through AI? Who's a BDR on the ground right now? Raise your hand if you're a BDR, SDR. Who's gotten through the AI screens, like the screening? You figured it out?
Oh, I just started like one day. So I haven't made it yet.
Okay, all right. So much for this crowd engagement. All right, I'm still working on the crowd work part of this. So, Zero? What'd you say? Oh, hit 0?
Oh, yeah.
Why is someone being mysterious? Like they can't tell. You said hit 0 to get through the AI screening. Is that all right? Cool. We're doing good. We got this, y'all. All right, great. So first off, one of the things here is 17% of enterprise deals are not lost on price. Or said otherwise, 17% of enterprise deals are lost on price, is what I should say. Over 50% stall because of internal decision friction. So other things to upload: sales playbook, how we think we sell; proposal templates, how we signal value; Past deals. This is one of my favorites. If you've ever downloaded or somehow gotten, I work in HubSpot a lot, but all of our closed lost and export of all that, wow, you can determine an incredible amount about your closed lost. Exact language, how the buyer justifies decisions internally. So again, from their LinkedIn profile alone, the kind of language that you're going to be able to draw it on is very powerful. Use cases, outbound that matches how the account decides, messaging that survives PLO, sequences that reduce deal stall and don't increase volume. So focus on quality over quantity. So moving forward, what's the more advanced version of this? You're like, all right, tackle the project, or all right, I'm ready to feel inspired about what's to come. CRM integrations into LLMs is probably an entire meeting we need to have, which, by the way, this is going to take more than just me and Scott and Falafel Cafe. This is going to take a lot of ideas, and afterwards, this is a little tangential, but if you want to connect on some ideas afterwards, and you're enthusiastic about what we're doing, it's not just going to be me and Scott. I'm working a lot right now. So come join the party. I'm happy to collaborate. One of the meetings we need to have is on CRM integrations into LLMs. One interesting use case is, it is a big deal because it's also low. It's a big difference between stepping into Claude code and simply putting in an integration on the LLM. It's a big difference maker for how much effort is to put in. Interesting use case. If you haven't used Notebook LM, one of the interesting prospecting tools I use is the podcast tool in Notebook LM. If you haven't used it, give it a rip. That is a really cool way to have, for instance, I have an enterprise level client. He's stalled AF. It's been like a while now. I created a podcast talking about our communications and the deal and the problems that we were running into and how we create solutions. It was like 5-minute podcast that spoke on exactly our deal and why it was stalled, and sent it to him. I'll let you know how that works. Interesting use case number 2, 8-bit video game in Claude. I really want to show that off to you, but if you haven't done that, I created a solar recycling game in 8-bit in Claude in like 10 minutes. My boss got me and thought he was going to yell at me because it took me a day to do that. I was like, no, it took me 10 minutes, boss. Automated BDR agents in Claude code. Next steps. So hope you found some inspiration in this talk. Your goal before the next session is to build a project. If you haven't done a project yet, jump in. Jump in while the water's warm. And remember, the delta of these automations, these intricacies, these efficiency gains is only shrinking, right? Get in ahead while it's really going to make a difference in what you're doing. And if you're a BDR, SDR, also from a director level perspective, I was speaking with our friend from Minneapolis here. I apologize, I forgot his name. P3. Remind me your name? Justin, I apologize. Justin and I were like, this is not an option. Like the idea that a rep's coming into your company now and doesn't have this kind of AI literacy is changing rapidly. This is just a baseline. And I'm running into that too. Like, how do we get quality people and quality AI literacy? Thanks, everyone. I know we want to leave room for questions. I hope I did just that. I know sales reps always have questions, and let's talk. Lastly, you want to end on the event survey?
Oh, I put it at the end. Oh.
No, I changed it.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Austin made me.
Oh.
Can you verify that so Scott doesn't beat me up? Yeah. So, questions. Let's do this. What's up?
What LLMs does ChatGPT access and access LinkedIn data?
What do you think about that? Because I feel like it's probably at least on the ChatGPT side, I haven't had a lot of success in that. What's everyone else's experience?
It can search it. The question was, can ChatGPT access LinkedIn data? And as of this conversation, when you just search for it, sometimes it will get it, but LinkedIn is getting pretty hard on blocking that. But in terms of being able to still export your data by hand, you can still do that and export client data and then upload that to ChatGPT to reference it. That's pretty much always going to be there for the foreseeable future. But in terms of just hard being able to search through LinkedIn, even with an API call, they're getting pretty tough about it.
I feel the same way. I'm open to feedback too, but I feel like it accesses what's on a Google search in the top bar. That's kind of the extent of it.
I'd say you can add if you are like code, you can have it crawl through a crawling extension, but it's still slow.
Okay.
The one thing I was going to highlight, if you are by your company, you're locked into like a Microsoft stack, for instance, Copilot does the same thing. That just references it as an agent. So what he just walked through, you can do that same thing in Copilot. If you're locked in, your organization don't let you use ChatGPT, you can do that through their agent stack. If you ask it the same questions, it'll walk you through the same thing. If you're in cloud, you deal with skills. So any of that, if your organization is locked in one product or another, don't think you're out of the game because you don't have access to ChatGPT.
Yeah, I definitely forgot, like, you know, how your IT department reacts to all this is a discussion to be had.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
Yeah. Because that enterprise data is important. Oh, hey, I didn't know you were here. You've been here the whole time?
How you doing? What kind of? Yeah, go ahead.
So I haven't started the project yet, but to personalize it, how would you recommend like getting ChatGPT to learn more about you so that your output is more personalized to what you do and how you talk and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that I leaned on the sales methodology in this example of 1 million to inform how it was going to talk specifically for that part. I think that if I were to look to inform more about me, first off, it's referencing all of your existing chats. So that's a start. Sometimes I still am very specific and say, hey, will you please go check that stuff? Basically, I would just say what you said into the computer and then ask it, build a prompt for this. And if anyone takes anything away from it, it's kind of meta. Is that the right word for it? Like it's just like it's an interesting way to work now. It's like it's the puzzle is identifying the problem. It's like we're all in a Toyota manufacturing facility now. It's like all 3S Motorola stuff. It's like, what's the problem? And then just tell it exactly what you said. It's like a very empowering thing though, because I don't know about you. I won't project on to anyone in the room actually, but I was the guy who asked like the question and sometimes couldn't see the path between the question and the answer so much. And this has just been a total game changer for me as like a person who didn't really thrive in school.
Something else you can also do is like after you've had the conversation with it and it gets to know you a little bit better, you can have it translate that into like a PDF or a markdown file. And you can just download that and then upload that file to your project. And then it will pull from there rather than trying to store it in the long-term memory.
Nice.
Because it's going to prioritize first, when you're in a project, first the files you've uploaded and the instructions, then the chat history in that project, then your overall system memory. So if you really want things you want to focus on, then make sure you do that. And then markdown files are always better than PDFs. You don't really have to know how to make a markdown file. It will do it for you, but it just saves you a lot of context on the front end.
I don't even know what a markdown file is, and I'm the one talking. So just feel safe in that regard. And that's something like I've tried to emphasize through this talk is, and a couple discussions earlier today, I don't know half of what you know, and you probably know, at least 90% of what I know, right? There's like the exchange is where the power is because this is all new. These discussions aren't being had. And that's what's so special about the space is a very simple thing. Lee could do it and I'd be like, holy crap, I hadn't even thought about doing that incredibly simple thing that way. Does anyone else have any feedback for how to personalize?
Yeah, I was just saying, you can also tell it that you want it to learn your voice and you can upload writing samples. Emails that you sent, white paper, anything you've done, and give it a bit of variety, formal communication, informal communication, and tell it what you're trying to accomplish, and then create your GPT and say, use my voice. So that's part of your prompt when you're creating the product.
It's like a 7-layer burrito at some rate.
Yeah. Just one other thing too, I uploaded all of my assessment profiles that I've ever taken. I basically did optimize my communication style, workflow, week, everything, and I had a 10-page PDF that optimized all those things.
That's a good one. I hadn't thought about that.
And I would add to that, like always, if you're like in here, you're like some of this conversation is boring. We jumped in head first and we learned some things the hard way. But start there. Build talk to it like you're talking to, you just hired your assistant. It's hard for us because a lot of people, if you're not in like an executive role or something, you're not used to giving people instruction. You don't feel that comfortable in like talking to this thing. talk to it about, I want you to help me build this thing.
Yeah.
And first off, what I would start with is your profile, how I communicate. How do you think I communicate? Ask it those questions. How do you think I write this? And challenge it, and then you get that pace and you implement what he's talking about. That's what kind of takes you next level, because it's crafted as you, and you can really start to relate to it. Versus you going down this process, build 4 or 5 projects, and then you figure it out. But it doesn't really communicate like me, you know. So that's lesson learned from my perspective.
Any other like use case questions?
I have something that's kind of
Let's do it.
interesting. We're small business oriented for our own little AI company. What I've been doing is I play Claude off against ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, I'll ask to do a deep research prompt for Claude AI so that it identifies that Claude AI has specific parameters of research versus chat. Then I'll come up with a nice prompt, and I'll put that prompt in Claude, and then I'll have it go through whatever topic I need to know. And then I'll take that and I'll put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, this is an iteration from Claude. Why don't you critique it? And then I just keep doing that and refine it over and over. And it's the granular detail. I notice like less hallucinations, and it gets me where I want to go, especially for what we're doing.
Awesome feedback.
Yeah, that's a great thing, and like kind of jumping off what Derek said too. Like to go ahead and bring it back. The time to start is now. Like I know that we kind of got into some technical things up here, and really the best thing to do is just do it. Just try it, figure it out, and just learn. Like we're both non-technical. I have a counseling degree. So yeah, and I'm up here building sub-agents in Claude Code. Like it's really just about putting the reps in, getting the work. We can do some board presses later. I need to work on my 3 board. Yes?
That's a question for the room. So I work in Claude a lot, and I've been uploading a lot of files, and I keep getting this prompt, this error message that I've reached my max compactions per block.
Yeah.
Okay, so it keeps trying to back, and it won't compact anymore, and then the chat's done. It'll just stop working. So you have to counter that and try to work around for that. And I go try to start a new chat, upload the files again, same thing happens because the files are made.
No, don't. So when you start hitting a problem like that, then just ask it to put it all into a PRD and save
What's
that
a PRD?
It's a PRD is like a software development plan, but Claude Code reads everything like software. It's pretty much just a plan, and that's what the software developer will work on, a PRD file. Have it convert it to a PRD and then save it in your Claude Code folder. And then when you start a new chat, tell it to reference that PRD. So it will go through and read it. You don't have to re-upload all the files. It's not going to murder your context window, but it will know where you are. It will know where you got in the project.
So I'll upload my HTML file and then create a PRD.
Yes. When you start to get maxed out and it gets a little slow, create a PRD, start over. It's just like leaving an end of the day note for yourself about what I need to do tomorrow, and then the new task is the next day when you start it again. I'm sorry, I jumped in. That was just a really weird technical one.
No, that's a fantastic answer. Who, I would.
Just one quickly. So that is one of the limitations of if you're at the $20 a month Claude subscription, is it does do come across those usage limits a little bit more quickly. You don't really have that experience of using the paid version of ChatGPT. So what Scott said is a great way to do it, just to reduce your context window, and especially if you are several pages down or several chats down in a single thread. That's really important. I mean, that is, in my view, that is like a pain point with Claude, like the $20 a month version. There is a max plan, it's $100.
So I have a max plan. Right?
Still a max plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then ultimately that is going to come down to the point where it's like trying to reduce the context window as much as possible by having these files.
And Sonnet 5 is going to come out this week, and everything is going to change. It's the
What's
context.
coming out this week?
Sonnet 5.
Oh.
The newest Claude model is going to come out, and the context window on that is like 1 million, I think, tokens for the one context window. Opus. Yeah.
The compaction error is really limiting me right now.
When you're doing like a big HTML files, Excel files, PDFs, especially if they have pictures in the PDFs, it just eats your context. You'll just run out of over half your context before you've even asked it to do anything. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's bring it back. So this is our post-event survey. If you've liked what we've done here today, if you didn't like it, yes.
QR code's on.
We need access to request access.
Okay, I'll fix that. So
You do that. We're walking out the door at 1.
yeah.
All right, great. So I'd like to take one more question. from someone who is newer to AI, if someone's comfortable talking about it. If you have any questions about the presentation, that is, or in general. So,
Prospecting, how do you find your contact information for potential clients using AI?
yeah.
Like email, like specific.
Anyone have any feedback?
So the only way I've been able to do, I mean, it's usually a paid, you're tying into a paid subscription, like Apollo or, any of the other groups out there. You can again ask it that question of, hey, I'm doing this, I don't have a paid subscription. Tell me what you would recommend me finding. I mean, it took me forever to get to that concept. Austin hammered it to me in one of his training sessions, but like the question you asked, it's like I've got now where I just ask. I don't have a paid subscription. I'm looking to get to this prospect, this industry. What do you recommend? You'd be astonished on what it and sometimes it limits you. It'll tell you like without a paid subscription, you're very limited to these 3, 4, 5.
Does anyone else have any hacks?
Anybody else?
Hacks? Ideas?
I put in for customers, like if you sell someone, put in the profile in the chat and say, I just sold this customer. I need 10 customers that match this ideal customer profile. And can you give me the LinkedIn of the company and the recommended contact that you feel like would be interested in something you want?
So that's brilliant because you built the decision map. If I understand you correctly, so you're getting some results on. Now, is it as granular as the email address for you? Is it giving email addresses?
No, it'll give you the LinkedIn profile to the company.
Okay.
The LinkedIn profile to the contact. And then you can even say, why do you think this is a good prospect? And so I sell SaaS software. So it'll say this client, John has shown interest in his LinkedIn post and his other behavior.
Some intent signals.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So it seems like the consensus is possibly email not super accessible as y'all are experiencing in LLMs. What's up?
I mean, if you can't find an email address, you can often ask for the naming convention for the company.
I love that answer. That's a great answer. So the answer was, remind me your name. Marcus Sparks.
Yeah, that's me.
Mr. Sparks said one thing you can do as a workaround for email addresses, which is all of our biggest pain point, ask for the naming convention of the company. Right? That's a great solution. One last point or question?
So it's all about like sort of what's public, the emails, generally private and that sort of thing. So one of the things that is always public intentionally is job postings. And so if there are job postings that indicate lines, projects or things that are happening at companies or that are in your domain, you can ask it, give me the top 10 companies posting this type of job in a territory, and you get your call list by company, and then you can drive down individuals. That's a good one.
All right. Thank you all for being here. I hope you took down some great information. Couple reminders as I hand this off to Scott. Let us know, right? This is your group. We just came up with it randomly, and now we need to decide what we want to talk about and where we want to go with it. So thank you all for being here.
If we have something we want to share with the group, how would we do that?
So we're going to start that. We're going to start sending out more of our circle requests for our social platform circle that we're building right now. And if you would like more follow-up, more one-on-one time outside of this room, and that's going to be a great place to do it. And we're going to have most of our content is going to be distributed from there now instead of email. So we all get too many emails.
And then, Scott, where can people come if they have an idea for a presentation?
Yeah, so
how are we going to facilitate that?
So we're going to, again, the circle as well as some of the follow-up emails. I had a link on here, but I guess Austin killed it. So to get your event survey, here is our information right here if you would like to connect with one of us on LinkedIn. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Kesis and Link, our big title sponsors for the year. And Kelly from Kesis actually just told me that they are looking for a director of business development. So if you or somebody you know is looking for a new job in business development, looking for a little bit more of a management level position, then come talk to me. I'll get you hooked up with Kelly, and we will get you guys moving along there. But anyway, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate everybody. If you have any questions, please let us know. And again, this community exists because of all of you. It's not us. We're just up here having fun, okay? We are here because we are together in this, and we are here to grow together through the trial and error and the reps. So thank you for coming, and we will see you. The AI and CRM that he talked about, totally unplanned, by the way, is actually what we're doing at the marketing session next week. We're doing AI and CRMs with Salesforce and HubSpot specifically, with Fastflow is going to come up and give a presentation on how to handle that. So, and total accidental lead in. This is how marketing and sales are just stuck together all the time. So that's going to be next week if you would like to come to that. All the information is on Eventbrite and our website. Thank you so much for coming, guys. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Brad.